Beautiful. Well, let's lay all the way back in our helmets. So feet in, head in. Nice relaxing position all the way back. And there we start to let the breath flow. Huge inhales. Relaxing exhales. I hope all of you this week got to see the super blue moon that we had. It was really amazing, just full, very large, just extremely beautiful to watch. So I hope all of you got to see it, and that's going to be what guides our intention today. That when I think of the moon compared to the sun, the moon is much less energy. The light that we see from it is simply a reflection from the sun. All it has to do is just be up there in the sky. And especially on the full moon nights, it's a huge light for all of us. A lot of animals are able to do a lot more night hunting during the full moon because that light is plenty to go off of. So I was thinking about that yin quality of the moon and how its presence, it's not super in your face. In fact, you can stare at it without hurting your eyes at all, unlike the sun. And oftentimes in our lives, we get into these modes of doing, and less in the mode of just being. And so I wanted us to transform, or to let the moon transform us a little bit today, into just presence. Just all you have to do is be. In fact, there's different phases of the moon, and the phase, the moon is still whole, even if it's on the new moon phase, where to us it's completely dark. It's just practicing that wholeness. It's just there. It's present in its light, present in its shadow. And yeah, I was wanting to practice a little bit more presence with that today. So that's our intention, our little inspiration for our class today. So with that to lead us on to more presence with our body and our breath, let's begin to stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Inhale. Exhale, lean partway to one side. If you're for the front row, sometimes you have to watch out for toes a little bit. But inhale back to long. And exhale, second side. And in this way, use the breath to start opening up shoulders and side ribs. Easy breaths, getting our body moving. After the next breath that returns us to the center, stay. And we'll start to hug the right knee into the chest. Take some easy ankle rolls for that right foot. Make sure you get both directions. Start to extend the leg up to the sky. It's in poses like this where we're getting into major muscle groups that will take just a few extra breaths, maybe than we normally take, so that we can really help to relax. It's the beautiful part of the stretch. Holding it doesn't mean that we're in an easy part. We can be all the way toward the very edge of our flexibility. No pain, obviously. But holding it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. It just means we're present with and breathing through the depth that can be available. Good. So take one more huge breath in. And exhale, start to hook this right heel to back left edge. Slide the shin in. It's a nice hip opener. Another opportunity to just pause for a little bit longer than normal. Once again, it's the breath and the depth that makes a difference here. So hug the shin in, no knee pain allowed, but hug it in to the point where your hip is definitely stretched. We'll start to release this leg, drop it all the way down. Left knee gets hugged into chest while we do some ankle rolls. Okay, extend the leg up to sky. Keep on pushing the heel upward, because that's what really allows hamstring muscles to lengthen. And how much space can we breathe into our belly? Hook this heel to back right, slide the shin in. One more huge breath close in. And out. Bring up this leg. Drop this leg all the way down. Pop the head only off the back end of the fabric. And start to let the head drop backwards. So we're stretching the front of the throat area. Just let that throat area open for a moment. Sometimes I'll even kind of push my jaw up just a little bit and pulls that throat area to stretch. Good. Now start to bring the chin into the chest, clasp the hands behind the head, and really pull the head in until we're stretching the back of the neck. The opposite side of what we were just stretching. Beautiful. As we start to release the head, we're going to transition toward a vampire pose. So we need just a little bit less fabric around the neck so it doesn't just, bunch up uncomfortably at that spot. So step your feet in a little closer to glute and then straighten the legs back out to start shifting some of the excess fabric down. Good. We do want to have enough fabric to completely cover shoulders at the end. So Just one good layer completely covering, and then hands reach up high, left and right. The feet come up. The feet stay on the inside of the fabric and they push out. That pushing is what gives us leverage to lift off of. Good. So first inversion, just know my normal spiel. You don't have to stay upside down as long as anybody else. You're just listening to how long it feels good for your body. Yeah. Especially after those 2 neck stretches we just did, let this be an opportunity for your neck to just hit. Absolutely fine if you need to come in and out of it a few times, just giving your head a break for a couple of breaths. If you've got just a handful that are still wanting to be upside down, the rest of us look done. So those that are done, hug the knees into the chest, both of them this time for just a moment. This will be almost like a child's pose, but flipped around on our back. Hug the knees in nice and tight. One thing we can imagine today is it's almost like our body maybe starts off like a new moon, and then every time we stretch a new part of the body, it's almost like the phase of the moon gets lighter and lighter and lighter. It's like we're stretching through and increasing circulation slowly, gradually to the whole body. So by the end of class, it's like we're a shining, radiant full moon. So if you still want to get upside down a little longer, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to start working our way up to a seated position. Good. Here we'll take another neck stretch once we're up. Clasp hands behind your back. Bring hands to the right hip or the right waist. And then drop the right ear to the right shoulder. As the head slowly rises, hand shift to left, and head starts to drop to left. And head rises. Bunch up the fabric toward the front door side of the room. Right arm stretches to the back wall or circles around the back side of the room. Once you're in the twist, let's focus on the neck just a little bit more. So let your neck start off neutral, as in looking to the front door, and then slowly look to the back wall until your neck starts sitting further. Maybe you take that a few times, returning back to neutral and slowly twisting, or maybe you just want to stay with the neck twist. Your preference. And then straighten the spine up a little more with the next inhale. Exhale, maybe twist just a little bit deeper. Release. Start fabric to the back door. Left arm stretches back or circles around the fabric of the wall. Again, neck starts neutral in front, gaze into the back door, and then slowly gaze to the back wall. Either stay or do that rotation a few times with it. Imagine we're really inviting in the light to the neck, especially. Inhale, the spine straightens upright just a little more. Exhale, spine twist just a little bit deeper. And release. Facing forward, hand on the outside. Exit out to front. Right away, we're going into a nice shoulder stretch. Those on the front row, go ahead and face just the other way just for this one. So hook your elbows and then walk forward to the point where you're in a little bit of a shoulder and kind of front of the pectoralis area stretch. Yeah. Yeah, that's why the mirror wouldn't give you enough room to do this one. So that's why I had to flip around. Good. So you can either arch the belly forward if that back bend feels helpful, or if you don't like that, you can keep it more like a plank, kind of leaning forward into it. Just the biggest thing is the shoulder stretch. So whatever helps you get into that spot. Sometimes even rolling around with the neck can be helpful here. Okay, good work. Start to release from that. Come back under the plumb line. Or you can, either way, you can face forward to the mirrors or not. So your choice. But either way, we're going to start to hug around the fabric and then circle the hands around twice. So really high grip. The second time it falls, the fabric falls into the hands. So from that nice high grip, start to let the hips circle back. And then let's all go to the left first. Go hips to left. Sometimes it's nice to pause at the long side body like a crescent moon. And eventually come forward. Take your time circling to the other side. If your feet are not quite right under plumb line, it'll still funky through some of the spots. So you can always readjust where the feet are. But continue to circle around in this direction a few times until the hands need a break. That'll be the point where we'll take a little break before we switch directions. So whenever you're ready for that break, come standing, wiggle the fingers, open and close for a moment. So whenever you're ready for second side, wrap back on. This time, circle to the other side. So circle to right. You can go fast, you can go slow. Make it nice for your body. If the back bend, the arch in the front is too intense, you can bend the knees a little. Make it less intense on the spine. Good. Once your hands need a break again, come out. Take the fabric under the shoulder blades. And then walk back to take all the slack out. Good. Back up until hips are now under plumb line. So hands can either stay up, kind of crossing, or you can go down, whatever feels better, but let the spine drop for a moment. And we'll take right ankle to left thigh. Allow that right knee to just open, dropping down as much as they can. And release this side, second half, left ankle up. Remember to release the core. If you hold onto the core, it takes the hip out of the stretch quite a bit. So zero core effort, the hips are just heavy. Good. As we start to release this side, drop down to a kneeling place with both knees. The arms are open to a low angle, start to arch the heart forward. This time it's more of a release through the spine. So just let that abdominal area stretch. Maybe lift the chin to a comfortable level. Stretching the throat again. Beautiful. Spine comes back up to stack. As you free up the arms, this next one you can sit back on your feet if this position is comfortable for you. If not, just go to a sitting position, like cross-legged instead, where we're taking the fabric to the base of the neck, this kind of the base of the skull, the spot where the neck meets the spine, the skull, and then wrap the fabric around that and up around the ears like a little headband. And then start to lay back such that it begins to pull the neck really long. So relax back into that, and especially let the weight of the shoulders drop heavy. One more huge breath, pulls into belly. Easy exhale. The hands grab onto each side as we slowly free the head out. Good, and if you're not at kneeling, go ahead and shift back to kneeling. Grab onto left and right sides, lean back, and then lift the hips up. And drop step. Open. Good. Slow motion, pull yourself up through a camel pose. You're still in the back bend until your weight is on the legs. Good. Rise the head up. Now just flip the hands to an easy prayer position. Take puppy pose. So the heart is trying to drop forward and down again. If this is too much on the shoulders, switch the hands to a grip and then just let the elbows bend. That can make it a little more easy on the shoulders. Sometimes it's nice for a moment to sway just a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Start to round the spine up until we're all the way upright heel. Step the right foot in front of us and then tuck the left toes behind. We'll rise into a nice deep lunge shape. And the goal here is to get the back leg into a calf stretch. So push the back heel backwards until you're in that calf stretch. I also feel a nice psoas stretch on the front of the left hip. So maybe you're getting bonus of both at the same time. Beautiful. Now, straighten the front legs, scoot the legs a little closer so that way the back heel is completely flat on the ground. And then lean forward into a nice pyramid. The front knee takes a slightly bent shape, preparing to take our weight. So then shift forward into warrior. Beautiful. So balancing in the warrior three, knee comes to nose, curl the spine in, extend back out to warrior three. Good, repeat that twice more. Slowly knee in and straight back. Once more. Good. Transition to half moon. The right hand is going to bump down to the center of the loop. And then when your left hand slides up, your hip steps. I kind of do it simultaneously. So lift the leg as high as you can. Beautiful. And we'll transition slowly like an airplane back to warrior three. Back to a soft landing. And then back to a soft kneeling. Good. Switch the legs out. Left steps in front. Already start to shift your weight forward as you tuck the back toes and lift that back knee. We're pushing up that right heel backwards, trying to get into a calf stretch. So readjust if you're not feeling that calf stretch. So stretch two. And shorten the stance until both heels are flat. And relax forward pyramid. Front leg is straight. Slightly bent left knee as we prepare to take our weight onto that leg. Launch forward, warrior three. Good. 3 times. Slowly transition knee to nose. Round in. Straighten back. And 2. And 1. Good. Half moon, left hand bumps to the center of the loop. Then as the right hand slides up, the hip steps. So lift the foot high. Slowly transition the hands back to equal. Airplane forward. Softly land the back foot. And we're going to step the feet together this time. Just take a nice, easy half forward fold. Soft into the knees, roll the spine up. Take the fabric directly to the hip bones. Walk forward to take the slack out. And then as we bend forward with the waist, drop the hips down. 3 good step stacks takes us under the plumb line. Leave the hands planting firmly as you lift up the knees. Keep the knees lower than the hips, but we're going to try to go into an arch shape with the spine. So start to let the chest drop through. So if it feels nice to stay in the arch, great. If you prefer to just hug around the shins instead, you can go to the hip hang. You can play with other variations or take some breaks for the massage that's on the psoas. Let this start to come into that free form. Do whatever your body needs for a little while. Breathe in and back out, whatever you need to do. you're up before others and you want to stretch, that's great. If you want to take a stargazer, great. And sending the right knee swaying over to the right side until nice. Switching. Yeah. If your head needs a little bit more time, great. You can just hold still. We're gonna start getting into a couple of shoulder stretches if not. So the right arm crosses on the left, and the left arm crosses on the right. Back to be pretty much standing on your own. And then leaning forward, don't let the fabric slip past the shoulder blades, but allow the fabric to just kind of scoot your arms even further to each side. So the space between the shoulder blades open up a bit. I like to tuck my chin before I rest it down so there's plenty of space to breathe in my throat. Work you back. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, preparing for second side. This time, left arm is placed first and then right. Same approach, standing up and then leaning forward to let the arms slide to each direction. And leaning back. Huge inhale, release. Good. And free out the fabric and finish. Beautiful. Let's step the right foot directly into the center. The right knee comes past the line of the fabric. Yeah, good job. Hop. You'll want to be pretty much under both lines, so hop forward if you need to. But then your left hand grabs the heel, starts to invite the heel upward. It doesn't have to be level with the floor. It can be more of a steep angle. You're going for an angle where your knee is still high. So whatever angle that is, grip back on about shoulder height and then lean forward directly into that. Okay. Come back just enough that you can free out the foot so the fabric drops down to the thigh. And then sink back into warrior one. Nice. And both hands grab onto left. Standing toes turn to the left. Rotating open to warrior two. You can just grab onto the fabric in front of your face if you don't want to open your arms to warrior two position. And scoop the tailbone under just a little bit, and then from that point, step the spine up. And hands are to the fabric, squeeze your thighs together, standing over your standing leg. Flip fabric to ankle. Good. Still grabbing on this left side, left hand goes up, right hand down. If that side rib opening is beautiful, that's where you want to be, great. If you want more of a side split, sink more weight to the earth. Squeezing our thighs together to return. Grab one hand on each side so that your standing toes can point forward. We're taking a little twist first. So left hand grabs on the right side, pulls. That makes the right leg cross to the top left side of that. And then right arm pulls that. Beautiful. Return, one hand on each side again. Either slide hands down, more of a piston stretch, or slide hands up for more of a split stretch. Either way, we're getting right into hamstrings. Weight starts to come back over standing leg. Either just take the leg out, step the other one in, or swinging switch. Stepping left in, right out. When you get there, step the foot back to the loop, the bottom of the loop. The knee bends going past the middle, and then up the heel, sliding it up to a good angle for your hip stretch. So knee, foot, and knee are in. Start to sink your weight forward to an extent that your hip will be happy. The knee is not yelling at you. And the foot starts to free out until we're in warrior one. Hands come up a little higher. Hands grab on right, standing toes turn to the right. The weight sinking forward. Maybe arms open, warrior two position. Hands return. Weight comes over the center. Slide fabric to the ankle. Good. Still facing to the side. Right hand comes up, left hand down. Either side rib opener or split. One more inhale. And exhale, return. One hand on each side of the standing, toes face forward. Right hand grabs on left and pulls. Left arm opens up behind. Beautiful. Facing forward, maybe piston, just leaning forward. Or maybe split, hands up high, sinking weight forward. Okay, good work. So back over the center. Slide the foot back into the fabric. You're going to prepare for butterfly or inverted butterfly, and know that if you want an inversion but you don't want the butterfly inversion, you can go to just normal straddle back instead. So lots of words, but you got lots of options. I'll take you through it one step at a time. So my favorite way to get into butterfly is bottoms of feet just come together, and then you slide the fabric to the pelvis, but you can also approach from standing. Get both feet in and rotate down. So pelvis right up to the fabric, and then one elbow, and then shoulder through, and then the other. Oops. Yeah, knees behind. Yeah, good catch. So this is okay to just stay right here. This would be butterfly. If you're wanting to invert, you grab your hands high so that way your fingers don't get stuck, and then you get the fabric past your hip bones before you come upside down. I can always be on the outside to help you come up if you feel like you get stuck. So inverted butterfly is beautiful. If you're like, I don't really like either of these, then that's where the straddle back would be your potential option if you want an inversion. So that would be the one where fabric's behind your hips. You just hang this. So lots of options to play with. Do you want to come upside down? Okay. So as you start to lean forward, just get the fabric to the bones so that it doesn't like out. Yeah. And slide slowly under our spine. Relax your hips. Yeah. Just try to. You can even release your hands at this point if you want. I'll help you get up if you feel like you're sitting down. Oh, yeah. To do it going down? Yeah. So I would do it slow. So rather than kind of like this. No. Yeah. Yep. Then just okay. Back right now. Try to put your hips more up to the yep. And then start to extend your arms forward. Good. If you're wanting to come out at any time, get your shoulders behind it again. Yeah, that one you're totally safe to even let go and just dive forward. So, yeah, that one's totally safe to do that too. Yeah. I just personally like to get it past my hip bone, so it really opens the hips. Yeah. So if you still want more inversion time, great, take it. You can switch to straddle back if you don't want the butterfly one. A little bit more playtime if you want. If you're done with inverting for right now, go back to some of these chair stuff, and you can like circle the knees or go back to these hip stretches, kind of whatever feels good. So a little bit more free time for those that really want to hang, but they haven't had that much inversion today. So a little bit of free time stretching, doing the chair, whatever feels good. Oh, the flip? Yeah. Maybe not today, but yeah, that one's pretty fun too. To flip? That's okay. Just get used to this shape, and your body will kind of start to, get used to this part of it, and then eventually it'll build up. So. No. It's that one's one. Even if it's actually kind of fun to go fast like that. I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's totally safe. Like you're so wrapped up, there's nowhere you can go. So yeah. And I'm always on the outside if you do feel like you're stuck. That's fine. Yep. Just practice the butterfly until your body's ready to try more. Another thing, if you're in the chair stuff, another thing I like to play with is twisting. So drop your knees to one side, but try to keep your torso still. eventually you can switch just to balance it, but play with it as long as it feels helpful. That one's so nice. Okay, if you still know that you need to hang a bit longer, you can. I'm gonna start heading to a few last stretches though, so just know you're welcome to skip the stretches if you know your body just gets you down. So if you're upright, you feel like it's safe to stand, let's come up standing. Walk up to the mirror side top of your mat, and then grab your fabric, lay it out. Okay, from here, put your elbows into the fabric. Actually, you two might need to switch sides, sorry. Go ahead and go to this side just so you can do another walking forward. Yeah. I forgot which one I was going into, so good. So you can either arch forward with feet together or take a lunge. So 1 foot steps forward, 1 foot back. And then by dropping your weight down, you bring your shoulders into that stretch. So basically anything you need to do to stretch out shoulders. Okay, feet step together. Slide your elbows into waist for a moment. Roll the head over to the left. Roll your head over to the right. Okay, so one more side, step your other foot forward. Go back into it, or if feet were together, just take it one more time. Beautiful. Step feet back together. We'll roll through the neck again. Drop chin down. Roll head over to the left. Roll head over to the right. Beautiful. Release. Head back up. Flip your grip. So thumbs are on the inside, fingers on the outside. You guys go ahead and switch directions one more time. You guys get the fun job today. Okay, grab about half the fabric. You're in the middle, back to sit in. We'll do just a few leg stretches to wrap ourselves up. So bunch up the fabric to the side that points you to me, to center of the room. Bunch up fabric so that you're facing toward me. Block the arm straight. And the hip that just got lifted, swing that one up and over. I did it many hundreds of times, so you'll get it by the 100th time, you know. Okay, your shin that's closer to the mirror, take that shin up onto the fabric and put. Once you've got that one up, just hug this leg in until you're in a good hip stretch. Okay, so bunch the fabric back up to place the arch of this foot onto the bunched up fabric. And then slowly start to straighten the leg as much as you can. If this is really intense, just keep pushing with your arm. That'll take some intensity out of the hamstring. If you're in a good spot where you want more depth, you'll start to release the hands from the fabric and that'll hug it closer. Okay, releasing this leg to just drop down. Second shin comes up. Again, hug it in until you're in that really good hip stretch. Okay, hitting the hamstring, bunch the fabric up, place the arch of the foot onto that other fabric. Just slide the foot upward. Same thing, if you keep your hand pushing, that makes it less intense. Start to back your hand off, it makes it more intense. So as we're nearing the end of this stretch, start to think of what your shavasana might be. If you want just a normal shavasana hanging in the fabric, then when you're ready, this foot frees its way to the mirror side, and then you can just lay back. If you prefer the womb, you'll free it to the side so that you can get your feet together and just come into that womb wrapped up shape. So, and even if you want to come out of the fabric to just lay on the floor, that's the third option for shavasana. So lots of options. Play with what feels really helpful. Be here for the last few minutes. Imagine after all these stretches we've taken all over the body, from the legs, up the hips, up the spine, up to the neck. Imagine it's like we're gathering in the last little bit of light before we become that super full blue moon. Just breathe, gather in the light during the shavasana. Imagine each breath takes more light into your body. All we have to do for these next few minutes. Just relax. here we'll start the process of returning. It might just look like a good deep breaths. Might look like starting to stretches to the body. Stretching through the legs if you're in the cocoon. Stretching through the arms to the back wall if you're in the shavasana. Option for fetal position. Play with it, give it a minute or so, just returning to the body, the breath, the connection. Fetal position, second part as well, balance on the spot. Then let's start to make our way up to a comfortable seated place when you're ready. You're here, joining hands together in front of heart. We imagine that we're shining like a full moon. All these various areas of our body having collected. Now reflecting out the light, feeling presence with our body, with our breath, with just this kind of flow about us. We head forward into this marvelous beacon, knowing that we introduce light to those that need it. So, with all this to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of oh, deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.